minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everyone. I just dropped my pop because of course I did. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I got a little bit of a different setup. Plus, I have a fan on me and I'm hoping this setup works, but let me know. I will get this has been a hell of a few weeks. I will get back to my normal panel streams on Sunday, but well, we hear you. Thank you, Hominus. Um, I just have had a couple crazy weeks. So I've been doing, the is it bad to say the bare minimum? Not in a bad way, just because I have to, right? So, um, yeah, this is gonna be probably the last disagreement for a little bit. I want to kind of do Ladies Week next week. I miss my ladies. Hello, Geek Studio. Hello, North Star Ken. Hello, Ventus. Vanitas. Hopefully, I said that correctly. Um, Hello, Black Phoenix. It's nice to see you. I know you're not a fan of the Amber Heard stuff, so it's nice to see you here. Cartoon and Comics and Hominous. Hello. So what's the stream about this time? I mean, it's really gonna depend on who. Hello, Gary. What the fuck am I? What the fuck, Gary? Hello, Joseph. If I ever hear that song again, I will kick someone in the fucking taint. You know what, Gary? I will lay off of using that intro for a while. That's fucking hilarious. Hello, Geek Studio. Oh my goodness. I like that song. It's not bad. Plus, I loved Peacemaker. One of the best shows in a really long time. Me and Bianca tomorrow have our review coming out of the Moon Knight series also, which spoilers, I loved it. I loved it. Video games and the world. MCU is nothing more than a buzzword used by those who think everything is woke in SJWs. Facts. Laying down the facts early in the game. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And that's why I put that. We had the She-Hulk trailer come out this week. I haven't had a chance to talk about it, though I would have loved to. Okay. So I've got a conundrum with this. It's it's okay, the writing. Let's talk about the writing first and the way that it was done. Fucking fantastic. Like straight out of John Byrne, Dan Slott, amazing, sexy She-Hulk. And then you get to the CGI. Lord have mercy. It is so like okay, it's not so bad, but it definitely does not feel like it is done, right? When she first turned and she opened up the door, I'm not kidding. I thought it was I thought it was Fiona from Shrek. It's so you get that like chubby cheek Fiona look. Oh my goodness. Um, but the She-Hulk writing, that was her. That was her 100%. I absolutely loved that. And I love the line about how being angry and scared, and she's like, "That's a woman. That's a woman's baseline." I fucking love that line, and then the line about the orphans, like, and then her dating. Oh god, I want it to be good. I want it to be so good. Love everything about it, but Lord have mercy, fix the CGI, please. It's gonna be very hard. It's gonna take everybody out of the show, right? It absolutely is. So please, just you know what? Take some time. You can delay the show. I'm totally okay with that. Fix the CGI. It definitely felt like there was lighting off, and I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the new Daredevil series? I don't know. I like the actor that they have playing Daredevil, but are they going to start over? Like, because we are recently, I mean, not super recently, but within the past couple years have had a Daredevil series, right? So And there was nothing wrong with it. So are they gonna include that? Is that canon, so to speak? Yeah, I would love that. I would love that, and then, bring in, like, I don't know, they brought in Moon Knight, bring in some of the Marvel Knights, like, just go with it. Just fucking go straight dark, and there's gonna be people that love it. There's gonna be people that absolutely adore it. If you're gonna pull from Frank Miller, go, full, like, Elektra being who she is. I mean, I don't know who they'd cast as Elektra. I'm sure there's a lot of really great people that can play the part, but, yeah, go for it. Go for it, but just be careful, right? I would love to see it. And She-Hulk, I just if they fix the CGI, I think it looks really good. Watching, Dumbledore, it's not the same without JD. Yeah, I was never I'm not gonna lie, I was never into Harry Potter. I was never into any of those series. I don't even think I've really seen much of I think I've seen the first Harry Potter, maybe. I don't remember it, but yeah. Um, 007 Angelo, hello, good evening. Good evening, Levon Media. Tris, you need to see Jason Momoa flirts with Camille on Geo M Films channel. You'll probably bust the gut. Absolutely hilarious. Is that I promise, enjoy. Is that the one where somebody edited in like he was an actual witness? I think that's the one you're talking about, but if it's not, I'll definitely look it up. GOM Films. I'm gonna write that down. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Uh Yes, it is. Okay, so it was so good. It was so good. I love the part where he's like, "Hi, Amber," and they're like, "Please don't talk to the witness." It's just like, what? Somebody's really good at editing. Definitely. But it's really, really enjoyable. Some people, when it comes to this trial, have done such a phenomenal job of editing or animating things. There was one I seen the other day that was like, I can't think of the style, but it was like almost an anime video game. Oh my god, it was so well done. Like I'm kind of jealous of your skills. I'm not joking. I am not joking. I did see, I don't know if Elon's still here. I seen him earlier in the chat asking why Jordan Peterson was on the thumbnail. Generally I was gonna go into solicitations, but that's a good one anyway. Nope, the new one he just did. Oh, great, awesome. I will check it out. Is that on YouTube? Because the one I seen was on TikTok. I don't I TikTok is oddly addicting, but I try to stay away from it. Hello, Nick. Um, the poop on the trial was the best of it. Oh my god. If I never hear again about Amber's turd, I will be happy. I will be a happy camper for sure. So, yeah, I never saw yeah, I never I couldn't get into Harry Potter. It just wasn't my thing. I don't know. I know a lot of people like it though, so I'm not dissing it if you like it. I'm not meaning that at all. It just nah, nah. Well, we're getting a Batman vs. Robin event. Yes, hello, Raymond. Um, yes, Batman vs. Robin, written by Mark Waid. Fuck yes, I am there. Sign me up. Take my money. Yes. Oh my god. The recent Batman Superman World's Finest by Mark Waid has been phenomenal. Like, not book of the year, but maybe like Superman book. Yeah, I don't even know about that because Action Comics is better in my opinion, but it has been so dang good. Yes, Elon, you are here. I seen you say what why was it Jordan Peterson on the thumbnail? And, after I explain, I'll put the link in the chat if someone has disagreements. I'm hoping disagreements. Come on, guys. Usually, the only way I can get disagreements, it seems, is to put Comicsgate in the title, and they're kind of irrelevant. No, I'm just kidding. Jordan Peterson recently took aim, and I'll share my screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. This dude's so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're a fan of Jordan Peterson, but Bro, what? Um, alright, God, hold on, let me show you. So, uh, Jordan Peterson took aim at this model. So they cut the picture off like ass wipes, really. We'll look her name up. Her name is Yumi New. We're gonna look that up because I looked her up and he's like said something like along the lines of sorry, right here. Sorry, not beautiful, and no amount of authoritarian tolerance is going to change that. Bro, what? Nobody said you had to think she was beautiful. Nobody did. Not a single person. Chill out. And he was getting roasted by like, yeah, he quit again. Again, Raymond. He's a fucking pansy ass. Like, honestly, he does this and then he plays the victim. And like a lot of people cover for him like he's some sort of victim. Dude, what? You called a bitch and by bitch I mean nice person. A woman, sorry. You called a woman ugly, unprovoked, and then you play the victim? No, the bully in this situation is the man calling a woman ugly. He said, not beautiful, unprovoked. And then he's like, oh God, I gotta leave Twitter. It's so mean. Oh my God. Oh my God, I hope I don't get anything like dirty. Okay. I don't think she's a dirty, dirty girl. I don't think I have safe search on though. But come on. And like, she's not the most beautiful person in the world, but she's not ugly. She's not even fat. Like, she might be a little bit, like, thicker, but there is nothing wrong with this girl. I wish other pictures would load up. Really? Why is it on Yahoo? I use Bing. That's probably the problem. Tell me this girl is fat. Tell me to my face that this girl is fat, and I will laugh in it. Like, are you kidding? Like, I get it. She may not be your type. You may not think she's beautiful. She's thick. She's thick. That's it. Like, this dude is ridiculous, honestly. I just find hilarious that, like, okay, she's sideways, but she looks good as hell there. Like, she looks good. That was not a flattering picture. I I don't get it. Play the victim, you little fucking pussy. Run away. She's gorgeous and thick. I like I don't know. I think he's a giant fucking man baby. Okay, that's mean. I take it back. But bro, really? Like, yeah, she's got a little bit of weight on her. That's not exactly flattering, but she's not fucking gigantic. I don't get it. I don't get it one bit. So I figured there wasn't much. The bikini was the problem. You're absolutely right. Um, Cartoon and comics. It was not a flattering picture. There was actually, hold on, let me see if I can find it. There was one picture of her I found, and she was like, goodness gracious, beautiful. Hold on. Really? Why is my computer being an asshole tonight? I want to show you guys though, like, she looked good. She is huge, honestly. Oh, honey. She's really not. Have you been to like in the real world? Her body compared to some, and I'm going to say some because obviously everybody's a different size and everybody has their own preferences. But like, nobody told you you had to think she was beautiful. Nobody. Nobody pretended. Here, I found some pictures I want to show you guys. Where did you go? Is that it? No, it's not. Like, look at her. Honestly, that's just a normal chick. So fat. Oh my God, look at her. I don't know. I find Jordan Peterson a little irritating myself, but I just don't think it was a very flattering picture. I really don't. So, it was one of the controversies this week. That was the only reason why I had it on there. Like, honestly, her body's better than her face, I'm not gonna lie. You know, have you ever heard of that, like, butter face thing, right? She's pretty, but her face, or she's got a nice body, but her face, I don't know. I don't find her gross. I don't. Is that no, I don't know what that's going to. Oh, well. Yeah, so that's it. That's the only reason why I had it on the thumbnail. Is Jordan Peterson's a crybaby? Okay. Let me bring Butterface. Um, let me bring up the what's it called? Link here. Invite guests. Don't matter who's bigger or not compared to the other person. Are you a healthy size, weight, and BMI? Even when I was 260, I'm still strong. I'm just fat. I was just. Yeah, exactly. And she looks like she's pretty fit for her size. I thought she was cute. Not gonna lie. Let's see here. All right. Let's get this going. I don't know who that is either, Tava. The only reason I even know who this girl is because Jordan Peterson got upset about it. Okay. All right, buddy. Get some actual disagreements. Come on, guys. I don't care what it's about. It could be about bi Batman that's not really bi, and you just have a bunch of people lying about it. Legitimately, like, oh my god, Batman's not bi now. Take 10 minutes and read the book. Just 10. Oh my goodness. It did this to me last time. It wouldn't let me it would not let me pin this. So now I have to go into YouTube. She could use a colon cleanse, I assume. Ew! Ew. Don't say that. I don't want to think about what comes out of her ass. I just said she wasn't ugly. And then yeah, of course the MCU stuff. The here. Now are you gonna let me pin it? There we go. Haha, it worked. Just some guy did a fun sarcastic video. Yeah, I seen that. I listened to it earlier. I I was like, "God damn, how do I do the same exact video but just not as good?" Like, I do my video and I'm like, I'm so passive aggressive and I need to stop with that. I'm like, "Idiots have been lying on the internet. Oh, by the way, this happened." I just gotta stop being so fucking pissy. I don't know if it's just the last couple weeks or what, but goddamn, I've been so passive aggressive when it comes to making stuff. And his video is so much better. So much better. Got nobody in here. Let's see what we got going on here. A coffee enema would do everyone some good. Coffee? Coffee? Like, wouldn't that would absorb the caffeine in your colon. Yeah, I'm good on thinking that about somebody's colon. I'm just good on it, I promise. So if a woman calls you ugly, that's okay, but a man calls you ugly, not okay? Who the fuck said that? Who said that? If it was a woman, I'd make fun of them too. And don't throw stones, especially when you look and sound like Kermit the Frog. Like, honey, Jordan, don't throw stones at glass houses. You are not an attractive male. And it just no. Everybody's ugly to someone. That's exactly right, Elon. That's exactly right. Beauty is subjective, right? Everybody has their preferences. I think she's cute. She's a little heavy, but nothing. She's not fat by any means. Um, Beauty is an eye of the beholder, right? So when you look at somebody, you may prefer blondes. You may prefer brunettes. You may prefer redheads with carpets that match the drapes. Everybody likes something, right? Everybody does. All right, we have something here. And that's what's true, Elon, and everybody also about comic book art, right? I'm not a Riley Rossmo fan, but he has some. I've been loving Nico Leone on Catwoman. I've been loving this stuff. Oh, I can't think of his name. Dan Mora. Dan Mora, beautiful art. Everybody, when it comes to that, it's subjective. Phil Jimenez in Wonder Woman Historia. Beautiful. Drop dead gorgeous. But not everybody's going to think so. And that's okay. All right, we got a disagreement. Maybe. Fuck that. I hate everyone equally. I dig short-haired chicks personally. Or dark short-haired chicks. So you like goth chicks, Reese. It's okay. You fell in love with an emo girl? I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. All right, Shelby. No, I got them.
Hello, people.
I better turn the names on. Hello, how are you?
Hello, guys. I know that you were all waiting for me.
That's
Why,
right.
that's why everyone comes in on Sundays. They ask themselves, "What's Shelby gonna do for the next haha?" The
That's
next way
right.
of trolling Tristan. So, Tristan, if you could look out your window right now.
It's still light out.
Uh, no, I wasn't counting on you having a window next to you.
Oh,
No,
you're so goofy.
I just had I have free time, so might as well go through the topics that you had in the title, right?
So
Except
what's your
for the
disagreement?
Jordan Peterson one, because I don't really have an opinion on that. I like chubby girls, I like thick. I don't have a problem with that.
Like, honestly, you're a dude. Do you prefer an anorexic, teeny tiny thing or someone with meat on their bones? It's a preference.
I guess. I mean, I definitely think that there's a cutout where you definitely is like visible the fact that someone's not healthy. That's pretty much it.
I mean, she very well could be
Yeah,
healthy,
she
but
does.
we don't know. Yeah.
She looks like a normal person. Like that's kind of like a mom bod. And plus,
Yeah.
it's like you have to be kidding me if you're telling me that that photo is not like edited or Photoshop. It's a magazine, of course. It's probably like touch up or something.
Oh yeah. Come on.
So
Even on like Instagram, everything's fucking edited. God damn. Why do you think my picture is black and white? Because I didn't like the color of my shirt. Everything is edited, guys.
yeah, I don't even upload pictures. But yeah, I don't really have like a super strong opinion on that. But the other points like MCU and Batman being bi, I don't know if you want to talk about those.
Yep, go for it. What's the disagree about Batman being bi though?
Well,
He's just not.
in your video, it's that in your video you say that you say 2 points. The first one that this is not canon, and the other is that there is nothing like showing that he may be bi. And I don't think
Yeah.
those points work because those are the same points that have been used before to say, oh, the character is bi. Like we saw it with other stories where not you, but it was used the fact that, oh, it's an Elseworld story, so it's not canon, so it's no problem with this character being bi. And the same thing for there not being any proof that Batman is gay. Is like that's why queer coding exists, because it's something subjective. Or am I wrong?
Okay,
I don't
so
know
have
with
you
this.
ever read any queer coding in Batman?
No, I don't personally.
No,
But
yeah.
that's why queer coding is like subjective to anyone, or what
That's
is
true,
queer
but
coding?
I'm sorry, Batman is their cash cow. Everybody chill out. It was literally espionage. That was it. It was him able to figure out that he was better than Anton and do a better job. He finally got to it, and that was it. And everybody's like, "Oh my god, Batman is bi." No,
Well, um,
that's objectively false.
okay, let's say that it happens and he turned out to be bi. Would you be for it or against it?
um, I don't know. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah,
I would have a problem with it. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
Not because I hate gay people or anything like that, because obviously,
no,
if you've been to my channel, you know that's not true.
yeah. At
Just
this
because it
point,
would seem like such a weird left turn.
yeah, at this point, it's definitely like if there's any proof for him being bi, it would have been brought up. I mean, what, 70 years of the character, and there's like almost like the whole thing is that he's a playboy. He is like a
Right,
man's man.
exactly.
So for it to, because I saw other people saying the Bruce in Gotham High, he's bi coded or queer coded, and they use
In Gotham High, I could
yeah,
see that a little bit
you remember
more.
that? Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like, and they use the fact that well, it's an Elseworld story, so it doesn't matter if he is or isn't, and they
right. It
use
was a graphic novel for children. Remember? For kids.
for teens, not even children. That's the thing.
Oh my god, I'm so old. Teens are children. Come on now.
Oh my god. But yeah, so it would be like, what do you like say is queer coding or whatever it's called?
I always Tim was queer coded for a while. Like, okay, say
But
Tim's been around for about 35 years. About
yeah.
10 of those years he was queer coded. In my opinion, he was.
So
I
do
mean, they
you?
did the joke about being in the closet, the stuff with him and Connor. He was more desperate to get back to Connor than he ever was to Batgirl. Like,
So
there
do
was a
you
lot of
think?
stuff in that.
So do you think that queer coding is something that could be subjective
I
to
do.
anyone? Okay,
I do.
because that's, then I could say the same, that, oh well, Hal Jordan, he's definitely pan and he is queer coded. There's definitely
That's
no proof of it, but
no,
if the creator says he is, one could say, oh
not the
well, it's
creator.
queer coding or writer,
So
not creator. Sorry.
the thing with Grant Morrison, and I love Grant Morrison. I want to make that clear. They, I don't know his pronouns. I'm sorry, I don't. I think it's they. They're extremely, extremely talented. Have done so much for this industry, but they also, you know, that meme where it's like, "Hey, fellow kids," you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I'm a
That
kid, so I get it.
is Grant Morrison in a nutshell. He doesn't know even what, like, they came out as non-binary, and then they didn't they changed their pronouns a couple of times, and then Hal is pan because he dated an alien. That, in the world that you create, you have to follow its rules. If Hal had ever been interested in, you know, a male or somebody that's transgender, I could see him being pan, but Hal to me is the conservative, straight-laced character to me. I've never seen him as anything other than super, super straight.
Yeah, but that's why I say that. I mean, this is not like me saying that something is definitive, but I'm just saying this because I play devil's advocate and everything.
Right.
I know that you love that. It's definitely not annoying. But I say that in the sense that queer coding could be used as a way of saying any character could be something, and it's subjective. So if it turns out to be, then it's all right because my proof is subjective. That's because
So,
I do you
what's, hold on, I got a question for you.
yeah.
Wouldn't it make, okay, why does, I understand that, you know, you're looking at 80%, 85% of America that are straight. But when a character is created and you don't know the sexuality of it, I kind of go in it more like every every character is bisexual until it is, you know, why does the standard have to be straight? And if you look at it that way, then it kind of opens up the idea of whatever could happen happens. Like, look at what's going on with John. I know a lot of people don't like it. I get those comments literally all the time, like, ha ha, it dropped off number, 50. Yeah, bitch, it was 56. It's okay. You didn't get me. I still enjoy it. Um, but look at John. He was a kid and everyone's still crying about it. Like, nothing about that felt forced to me. That felt very, very natural. And I thought it was done very well. And I am a little biased to Tom Taylor, but I don't think you have to look at everything with the default of straight when it comes to characters.
Yeah, that's something that that is really like taught in like the production of media, that you shouldn't start everything with a blank canvas. It could be a black canvas for all you want. It could be a blue canvas. But I think that the reason that people go into the default that a character is straight because they don't show any romantic interest is
Right.
because straight is kind of just the default setting for a lot of people for throughout history. It's kind of been just the default setting. That's it. So, and this is not for me to say, oh, I don't want LGBT characters, but it's definitely like when we saw Tim turn out to be bi, I definitely could have said in the beginning, oh, this is just SJ Devil pandering. But the more that I sit on it, it's like, okay, he isn't really that relevant in a lot of media. And like the most that I could say is maybe the Arkham Knight, maybe that one. And so I wouldn't really be like a leap of faith to say that he is bi. Okay, no problem. But when you have characters like, again, Hal Jordan, it's like, okay, yeah, this is not, I don't see how these
Yeah.
two correlate. Okay, I can definitely see. And that's goes back to the thing of pandering, that you can definitely tell when something is just lip service.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Like, I'm not giving spoilers away here. For Moon Knight, it's just one line. There was a line in there that felt a little pandering to me, but it was
Yes.
cute at the same time. Like, it doesn't have to just pandering doesn't always have to be looked at upon negatively. There's other ways to look at it and go, okay, maybe that means something to someone else, even if it doesn't for me. And I'm okay with that because these characters essentially, we don't have entitlement to them.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something that you want to like them. Like if you invest a lot of your life to following a single thing, the moment that that thing changes, it definitely feels like they aren't putting into perspective the opinion of the long time consumer. And yeah, that's definitely something that happens. And whether or not it's a good thing or not to change, that depends on the audience of the thing. Because and this goes back to the idea of something being subjective. It's like a story could have, and it doesn't really have to be pandering. It's like example would be Bioshock. You've played Bioshock, you know about it.
Bioshock
It's a
is one
great
of the
game.
greatest video games
and
ever made.
and is it or isn't woke? It is, right?
It's woke as
It's,
fuck.
yeah, but one could say, hey, the characters in the game never like look into the camera and say, hey, uh capitalism is bad. They never say that, but it's definitely there. It's the theme. You
Oh
get me?
yeah.
So one could say, I could definitely just say, hey, Bioshock is a great action game. It doesn't have anything else, and I choose to not appreciate the undertones of critical thinking of capitalism and how it could go wrong. So it's like, if is it subjective of the experience of anyone who plays the game? Yeah, but it's definitely has a theme and a story. The other thing would be like I know that you love to say anime is woke, and
Anime's
any
woke as fuck too.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but anyone who hasn't seen Attack on Titan, uh, go away or cover your ears. But yeah, the main theme of Attack on Titan is about racism, and
Right.
one could say, no, it's just an action anime. It's just that. But it's like, okay, you want to say that? I definitely think that you can watch it and get out just the experience of, hey, this is cool action scenes, cool animations, but in the story, there's definitely a perspective of race and that. So that's
Yeah,
what I mean with subjectivity, especially on themes like those.
and I think a lot of it is people using that blanket term of woke or SJW or something like that instead of looking at what the real problem is when it comes to some of these different IPs. And these things can be done whether it's race or gender swaps or um whatever else they think pandering is. Um
We
but
never really
if
got
you don't
into
have a
it,
good
right?
writer, if you don't have a good writer, it's not going to work. If you have a good writer, then you're going to be able to get those messages across, like the critique of capitalism in BioShock,
Yeah, and it was done well.
like
It was
so
done good.
good.
But you remember that stream that you did like last year talking about go woke go broke, and we tried to have the definition of
Yes.
of woke, and I think we never got into it because there wasn't a really a clear answer. Everyone has their own, and well, yeah, there is definitely the dictionary definition. I do think that woke
Right.
has evolved, especially with the internet, has evolved to be something subjective, because you definitely have a different opinion than mine, but we
Right.
both enjoy the same material. If you say, hey, this thing is good because it has these themes, and I say, hey, no, I didn't like it because it has those themes, it's definitely subjective, but it has those themes. It's not
Right.
like you can ignore them, but I don't know, that depends on you. So that's that. But I wanted to talk then about the MCU. uh
The
yeah.
fake MCU? Yeah, okay, go for it.
Yeah, I want to ask you, like, because I know like how it is from my perspective, but what is the MCU for you? Like this whole like fake thing. What is it?
A bunch of people complaining because female characters are being elevated. I don't know. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I unsubscribed from all those people a long time ago. Every once in a while, it'll go up in my feed or somebody will suggest it. But honestly, I can't take them seriously. So, like, I reacted to a video from Young Ripa that you could tell he hadn't even read the source material. I gave up on actually taking these people for more than anything than black is the term black pill like
Black
when you
pill
hate
means like you don't
everything.
have. I mean, black pill means like you don't have hope. I think
So
that's it.
yeah, that I guess that would be what I think. And I do think the one thing I think that's positive about that little community, the one thing, because there's very little that I can see, is that a lot of people that felt disenfranchised by some of their favorite IPs have a place in a community to talk about it. So if that's what it is, then that's great. But I don't take what they say for more than um I mean, for the most part, a grift.
I mean, I don't really like keep up with them. You and I've told you
Yeah.
this a bunch of times. Like, I don't watch them. Like at most, maybe I come like get recommended something. But from what I can tell, I know that like Ripa started his what was it? His comic not shop, like company, I think,
Yeah,
or
but he hasn't
publishing.
actually produced anything.
Yeah, but at least he's doing something, and also like the
I mean,
quartering started his
until I
coffee
see
company.
something, I'm just saying. Until I see something, then I'll believe it.
Are you gonna buy
I
quartering
told
coffee brand coffee or whatever it's called?
no, no, no. But the thing with that is his whole channel is based on most of these channels are based on hating stuff. If that's what you're gonna do, you do you. But I have no fucking interest in hearing you complain all day long, saying the same thing over and over again. That's fucking boring.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they have people have the right to hate things. That's it. But the MCU
Oh yeah.
stuff, it's that like the basically the whole Marvel roster of characters are getting replaced by women. Is that it? That's the thing, right?
Say that one more time.
Is the MCU controversy that male characters are getting replaced by female characters?
I don't know. Like I think the
Because
controversy is there's actually so the original Avengers just had Black Widow, and
yeah.
it seems more like there's more female representation. We've got Wanda, we got She-Hulk coming soon.
Oh my god,
Giggity.
that looks. I don't like how it looks. It looks so.
I know.
Oh my
And
god, it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
wait, who else is in the MCU? God, I don't even know.
Female Thor, Captain British or whatever her name
Captain
is.
Marvel.
No,
Yeah,
not Cap.
so
Yeah, Captain Marvel, but the what? Captain Peggy, I think is her name
oh,
is.
Agent Carter.
Yeah, Kamala
She
Khan.
I thought she
Uh,
was like I,
you haven't seen
I don't know.
multiple of madness, right?
I haven't seen what?
The Doctor Strange movie,
Nah,
right?
I know the spoilers, but I don't.
Yeah, so it's
I'm not into
basically
it.
Captain Peggy Carter.
Yeah, but she's dead, right?
I mean, in the What If show, she's not. In the Doctor
Valkyrie,
Strange,
good one, Raymond. Yeah,
yeah.
Valkyrie.
So
So you're mad? You're mad? There's more females? Like, is that it? Is that it? Okay, well then I'm not gonna take
yeah,
you seriously.
but if there are more females coming into the MCU, doesn't that mean that the MCU is a thing?
No, it means it's fair and accurate. It
Uh,
shouldn't be 6-1 males.
I mean, there are female characters, but if that's the thing, because I don't know, I don't keep up with them, but I know that the MCU thing is that male characters are getting replaced by female characters or female
Like who?
counterparts. Thor, Captain America,
That
Iron Man, Iron Heart is
Captain America
coming,
is not getting
Hawkeye.
replaced.
I mean, Captain Peggy is definitely being.
That's a separate character. That's not the same character.
I mean, it's supposed
And
to
as
be
far
like a
as Thor
parallel universe
goes, the reason that being is
because it's an
being
alternate universe or
yeah, well no,
yeah.
I don't know that it is, but it sold like gangbusters. And it's the mighty Thor, so again, something separate. And we're going to see the cancer line. Come on now. That's a fucking amazing line.
I don't think they're gonna do cancer. I don't think they have the balls to do cancer because that's a
Oh, they
real
better.
topic. I definitely think it's just gonna be like, oh, she stumbled to the pieces of Mjolnir and she has somehow reconstructed it. I don't think they're gonna do the cancer storyline. They don't have the balls to do it. It's too
Yeah, I think
serious.
they are. I would love to, I don't know. I think they need to do serious.
They tried, and it didn't work.
Why? Hold on, I got a question
think-
for you, but let me get the super chat. In fantasy, I die. Thank you. I'm bisexual. I tell a woman I'm interested in her, and they say bye and disappear into dust. Anyway, thanks for the context. What? Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you so much. In fantasy, I die. Oh my goodness. Yes, the Jane Foster run was good. Figure drawing, really good.
Yeah, it was good, but I don't think that just because it was good in the comics, it's gonna translate well.
Yeah. But if you have the right writers, and let's be real, MCU is so formulaic, they're going to get good writers. They're going to at least put the money into it when they go woke or go broke, or so I've heard. Except for that's what can we call it? An illogical fallacy. So here's the thing. This is the question I have for you, kind of putting it back. Why is it okay for men to have all these spots and, be able to have characters built up and all of this, but once they introduce a couple females, it's over. Why is it okay? Why is it not okay for a few women, and I'm not talking the majority, I'm just talking a few, to not get a little bit of sunlight?
Well, from my opinion, I don't really care, but I could say that because the characters were male from their conception, it would be the same like if Storm or Wonder Woman got replaced by a man. It would be like, no, I don't really feel like watching that.
Actually, they just did that in the comic. I mean, they're on Earth 11. They're highlighting that Donald Troy
As Wonder Woman
and Raven. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, well,
he's Wonder Man's son, I believe.
because I don't really see it that many times where it's a superhero a female superhero who gets replaced by a guy. I definitely see it with male characters, and that's not up to me to say whether or not female characters should or shouldn't be in the spotlight. Everyone has their moment in the comics, but when it comes to movies, that's a different topic. I think it's a whole thing
it's
because
fair.
I don't know if it would it be fair if Wonder Woman, the DC comics, in the DC movies just got replaced by a male.
By like Nubia? Yeah, that'd be all right.
No, not by Nubia, but by a male character.
I mean, depending on how it was written, I wouldn't see an issue with it. But unless they're on Earth 11, it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's different universes, but still.
No, I don't mean Earth 11. I mean like main universe, just out of nowhere.
No, because then it would be the Trinity would not have a woman in it.
Well, that's that. I couldn't say anything. If it happened that the Trinity didn't have any man, would that be a problem?
Yeah, it would be.
I mean, would it? If Batman got replaced by Cassandra, if Superman got replaced by
I don't know,
Supergirl,
Cassandra's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, so would it be a problem if they got replaced by cool characters?
Cassandra? Yeah, go ahead. I love Cassandra. She's the best I love
But
her.
Wonder Woman is still there, like OG Diana. She's still there.
Gal Gadot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her.
So what would happen if it was instead of that? It would be like Batman is there, Superman is there, and instead of Wonder Woman, it was another magical character who happens to be male, like
So like
Constantine.
Constantine? Yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe him or not even him, like another like D-list, like male character.
Like Ragman? Ragman would be fucking badass.
I don't know. It definitely has to be a trinity of magic, aliens, and humans, right? That's the
Yeah,
kind
I
of aspect
mean,
I've always had.
I don't think that. I don't know. I don't see the issue with some of these characters coexisting. It's not. They're not replacing. She's not replacing Thor. She's coexisting.
I don't know, because in the Marvel in the context of the movies, yeah, she's not replacing him. Maybe he dies at the end of the movie. I don't know, but in the context of us as the audience who consume these things, a lot of people definitely feel like she's replacing him because if she's gonna be in the movie, she's probably gonna be a part of it. That's
How about giving it a how about instead of assuming like they do with stuff like Batman, maybe just add context. And yeah, I don't see the issue. I
wait.
just don't. I think a lot of people take things out of context and it's disingenuous. And it's
Well, that then we will have to wait and see because there are definitely examples of female characters who replace another character and it doesn't work out. There are also examples of it working out, like X-23, like X-20 Laura. She's like the perfect example. That's a good character, and it
yeah,
worked in
absolutely.
Logan.
I love her.
I would have loved to see a movie of her, but it's definitely not going to happen now. And
You never know.
figure drawing has a question for me. Do you disagree with any of this? Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok was good. Taika Waititi is dope.
Yeah.
He's a dope director. Thor: Love and Thunder has a great cast. Jane Foster run is the comics was good. Well, the only thing that I would disagree is that I'm not really a fan of uh, Ragnarok. Other than that, I think that the whole cast is good. I definitely think that Christian Bale as the God Butcher doesn't work because it looks awful. But yeah, the Jane Foster run was good. I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
that. I'm not really a fan of funny Thor, but I'm also not a fan of whatever the fuck that was before Ragnarok.
All right, I am going to Shelby, I'm going to bring the next person in, but thank you for calling in.
Yeah, definitely, no
I
problem.
appreciate it. It's
I
always fun.
definitely it's funny doing this on Sundays when I don't have anything to do. And sorry for being high last time. That was a fun experience.
What? What'd you say?
Being high last week.
Oh yeah,
that was a fun
Yeah,
experience.
I totally get it. That's awesome.
Okay, I'll see you guys
All
later.
right. Bye, Shelby. Thank you.
Bye.
Tava, I am going to bring in Second Street Marvel since you've already been in here last time. I want to give everyone a chance, but you stay here. I don't mean that. Hello, how are ya? Hello. Can't hear ya.
There we go.
There we go.
Is that better? All right.
Yes.
I'm not sure why it was muted. Hi, how you doing?
I am doing good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me on. And I see you're having the disagreements on and everything. And maybe I got in early enough this time and we won't get cut off.
Yes, exactly. That's awesome.
But I wanted to start off by saying like what you guys were kind of talking about there. It was kind of perfect that I jumped into this conversation too on this one because you're talking about like the gay characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, in the comic books, but then also you were just asking about the MCU. And like the long story short, my easy like response to that would be, I don't think it's necessarily the fact that they're bringing in the female characters in the MCU. It's how they're doing it more so. And also kind of the pecking order, kind of the line, I guess you would say line skipping of characters where, you know, we had Black Widow in the MCU for a decade before she ever even got a solo film. Captain Marvel comes in and got a solo movie before she ever did.
Yeah, that was bullshit. I'll admit that.
Plus, also the way they brought in Captain Marvel by completely getting rid of the Marvel from the comics, the original Marvel. I think that
I'm
was
not
a
gonna
huge
lie, I
mistake on their
haven't seen
part.
that movie. I still haven't
Oh,
seen it.
fair enough. But I think that's one of the things, and also, like I said, I think it's in the way they're doing it, not how they're doing it. Because now all of a sudden we're getting Ms. Marvel. Before, we just barely got Monica Rambeau, and there's so many other cool female characters out there that they could do before they brought in Kate Bishop, before they brought in these other characters. Heck, before they even brought in Carol Danvers, as a matter of fact. But I think she could have still actually been there towards the beginning, maybe even where she was at had the Black Widow movie come sooner. But that's just what I think is the biggest problem with what they've done in that case. And I I understand that. I don't, I know they're expanding the universe at an exponential rate now anyway. But
Right.
I think that's largely the reason people are discontent with what they're doing with a lot of the female characters.
But here's the thing. I'm not disagreeing with you because I didn't see Captain Marvel because it looked boring. It didn't look like something that I would be interested, even though I know I'm the target audience, right? Um, I don't have an issue with what you're saying at all. I think you're right on the money, but I think it's rare for someone to say it that way instead of just screaming at a camera and
Right.
being like, "Oh my God, it's woke."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously when you call everything communism and SJW. I can't.
Yes.
If
Right.
if someone was vocalizing it the way you do, because everything's subjective, right? I could
Absolutely.
understand. I think with it seems like with Kamala Khan, they might be going for a younger audience. It looked very
Definitely.
kiddish to me.
Definitely.
Kate Bishop, again, I'm not gonna. This is where I can't defend this stuff because I didn't finish the series. It was okay. It was okay, but I did finish Moon Knight because it was
Mm-hmm.
written so well, and it was so it was amazing. I thought it was very well done. The mental health aspect. What they need to do, at least in my opinion, is to bring in these characters and even like I know we're getting X-Men and stuff, so we need a Storm. We need a
Mm-hmm.
Rogue. There is no excuse
Absolutely.
why we shouldn't see those characters. But
Yeah.
I don't think there's been anything wrong with how Wanda was written. I know a
No.
lot of people didn't like WandaVision. I loved it. I loved the old TV aspect of it. I thought it was great. I don't have any problem with, and again, a lot of people may not like it, but Black Widow, I thought it was great. I was the target audience for that, and I was crying in the first 5 minutes. I loved it. But
Yeah, I thought it was decent. I thought it was decent. It wasn't bad.
I get they went for like the Harvey Weinstein thing, but that beginning where they went with the child trafficking, oh my God.
Right.
That was
Right.
powerful shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
other than that,
absolutely.
like, I don't see
Well,
I don't know. I don't see an issue like these people do. It's you got to be able to expand your universe and give these characters at least a fighting chance or you'll never have good women in there. Like nobody's
right.
perfect, even the men.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and I think kind of like you're like we're talking about here is like a lot of it is how it's done, and the way it's written and all of that kinds of stuff. Definitely. And I think that's kind of the problem. I think that's the issue with this Phase 4 so far of the MCU anyway, which again is a completely different conversation.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Chuck bring up a good point. When that Taskmaster thing, that was bullshit. Like, I love the
Yeah.
movie, I did, but the way that they did that, a fan favorite character, like people love this character, and they really did him dirty, did her dirty. So there was some issue with that, but like for the most part, a lot of it, in my opinion, is just sensationalistic whining.
Right.
And a lot of it comes off very disingenuous when you're blaming some crazy fucking commie. Like, I just stop. Take a
Yeah.
deep breath. You're okay. You
Right.
still got your Captain America. Like, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I'm glad you kind of bringing that up because it all kind of leads into exactly what I was my disagreement, I guess you would say, was about. as far as like the Taskmaster thing, how they did that. You're saying it's a beloved character by many people, and yet you would hear many people out there say, "Oh, like you know," and I remember seeing this too because it's always the argument like, "Oh, like whose favorite character is this really that people care that they did this?" It's
It was
one
a
of those.
lot.
Yeah, yeah. As I say, there's a lot, and
Now
I feel
for
there's a
Moon Knight, I
crowd
would
for
say it
about
wasn't.
everybody. I feel there's
Yeah.
a crowd for everybody. You know, like Moon Knight. Like I recently got into Moon Knight. Like last year when I read the Moon Knight omnibus, I got a hold of it because I knew the show was coming up. I read it. I'm like, dude, this character is freaking great. I like the original run. I read that, and I read some of the Lemire run recently, and it was pretty good. And I think the show, for the most part, did pretty good in that sense. But I kind of feel like any character could be that beloved character. Like I remember when Valentina came out in Falcon and Winter Soldier show. You know, like everybody's like talking. I'm like, you know, you're gonna hear everybody talking about, see videos talking about Valentina's her favorite character and all this stuff because it happens every time with every character.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like there's always a crowd out there for certain characters, which kind of brings me to, I guess you would say, the my disagreement that I have with it's probably been something, you know, a video you did a long time ago, but is still something that obviously continues to this day, which is with the super son of Kal-El, Superman,
Oh yeah.
whatever it is, that comic book.
Sure.
I don't read it. I'll be honest with you. But but I think, you know, one of the things you say in there is that he's a new character. You say a lot is he's a new character, so you know it shouldn't be an issue with somebody who's a newer character, which I sort of agree with. But I also feel at the same time that these newer characters are still characters that probably somebody has already liked and already engaged with, and over like in as far as the audience, when they go and make a change like that, people are gonna like it or gonna hate it no matter what.
Right.
I'm sure there's people who are I'm sure there's probably people who are part of the LGBT community who probably don't like the change.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sure.
You know, it's just they're just like I said. There's always everybody feels differently about this stuff, but I would say I think the biggest issue with even things like Son of Kal-El is that it's like a bait and switch, and in the sense that you had this character around, you got like even if there's a small audience of people out there that like him, there's probably other people out there that are like, hey, let's see what they do with this character. Cool, yeah, you know,
Right.
whatever. And then they do that, and that obviously is going to upset them. And I think, you know, and obviously I think there's a way to do things like that. And largely the biggest argument is always create a new character. And if you're going to do that, you need to create the new character. You need to have a good writer. You need to have a good artist. You need to have your A team on it, not a B team, not a C team at all. And you can't do a 5-issue miniseries. You got to do a long series. You got to plan for it.
Right.
But I would think even with doing a character like that, and obviously doing this would still you'd still get plenty of people who aren't going to like it. But introducing a new character with a great team and saying, look, we've got this new character that we want to do. We've got we've got 3 years of issues already planned. The story pretty much ready for this character that we're going to introduce. And as this character, we're going to see the evolution of this character into a hero and the evolution of this person turning, you know, deciding that they're gay or trans or, you know, whatever, like going through just not deciding, but you know what I mean? Like
I was
going
gonna say,
through
I
all
think
of that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, not deciding, but going through those experiences. Because, you know, largely a lot of people always say, like, you know, when you do this, like, oh, it's so common for people who were straight for years to all of a sudden come out. Sure, that's fine. I get that. That's completely understandable. That's undeniable. Great. But that's still not a great argument for the larger audience out there who are particularly tied to Superman, to Batman, to
Right.
any of these other characters. But then to do that with the character and say, we've got these 3 years planned where this is going to play out. And then, you know, maybe, and who knows, maybe it's at that 3rd year or whatever. Like, this is when we're going to find out this character is going through these things. And there's going to be stuff along the way that you're going to see out of this character in what they're doing.
Like
And I
clear
think-
coding? Is that what you mean?
I mean, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, I guess kind of like they're doing, everybody's talking about with the Batman thing, is doing that, or at least they don't even have to do that. I don't think. I think they could just do the character and say, but we're going to have a point where the person has, realizes themselves or whatever, and that's when they start to go and explore that after they've done this stuff with this character and kind of built them up over this time. And then even after they make the character change, they still have to keep that A team on the book because you have to keep a good writer and everything there for people to be engaged and let's be honest, to write a good story.
Right,
Um,
right.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of writers out there right now, I think, that could do that, to be honest.
Let me get these super chats, and I actually have something to kind of combat that. You must admit there are a lot of female characters they are doing now, so it feels jarring. They should have done it over time with how fast they are doing it, mixed with the pandering feels like they are taking over instead of being even. Thank you, Gary, so much. I do understand what you mean. It does feel fast, but it also is making up for something that they should have done from the beginning. They really did Black Widow dirty. Really,
Right.
really did. Thank you, Robert, so much. Sorry I'm late. My phone's been acting up the past hour. Damn phone. How dare you? That is so rude. Thank you so much, Gary. Taskmaster and his story to Marvel fans is like Deathstroke to DC fans. That's a really good way to describe it. They did Taskmaster dirty. They fucking did. And that was a fan favorite. My issue with everyone, like you say, everybody has their own audience, right? But the people that are complaining are always the same people
Right.
complaining about
they might
the same
not be
thing.
the audience.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where my issue is, because it's like you kind of said the same thing 2 weeks ago. You kind of said the same thing yesterday.
They're
You
mad for the
blamed
person that does like the character.
Right, exactly. And then sometimes it's hard to differentiate anyways. Because there are, like Teva from the channel, huge Super Sons fans. I get it. That was his character. Robert, thank you so much. I'm still living how anti-SJWs think it's okay to accuse me of not being a longtime comic fan because I don't parrot their talking points, right? And they like to, at least from my experience, if you don't agree with everything they said or say, you're an SJW, you're all these things. So I'm bread tube, apparently, I guess. In fantasy, I die. BW Defense. My dad and sister don't care for MCU. Black Widow Defense. Enjoyed Black Widow. They like the fights and the action, and I got to spend time and enjoy it with them. That means more to me than some agenda or whatever. That is so well said. That's what a lot of this is really comes down to, is your experience with it. That's more important sometimes than a lot of things. That's awesome to hear in Fantasy I Die. Thank you. Okay, so one character I wanted to mention that you kind of talked about having planned out would be Ghostmaker. That's kind of what they're doing with him right now. And I fucking love Ghostmaker. I think he's a great new character. He's LGBTQ, which is what they want.
Okay, and I'm not sure who the character is, just
what?
or anything like that.
You're not reading Batman?
know. No, I don't read any. I don't pull any new Marvel or DC. I only read indies at this point.
Fired. Anyways, they've introduced him. He's been here since, I believe, just the I would say Batman about 100 in that area, and they've been putting him in the main story. There for a while,
I may have the first appearance or something.
Yeah, he's got all white. He's kind of like a little bit more dangerous Batman. At first, that's what it would seem like. And then we got in backups a story, take place in the past. And now we're getting him even in Shadow Warzone. So that's a way to really introduce the character, see if he takes off. And then who knows, maybe in a year from now, he'll have his own series that's selling well because he's a great new character. And I really, really like him. And I wish they'd give him some attention. But then again, you get the people worried about line skipping and all of that. I think it's a way to do it. But I also, one thing I've been hard on DC about is not taking chances, is not actually just going for it. And I think that's what they did with Son of Kal-El. And it's not a perfect book. It's not even the best book at DC right now. But it's good.
Right.
And it's very aspirational. And we get to see Jonathan go through everything, that a normal hero would go through, whether, learning how to be Superman without his dad, learning how to be his own person, learning what love is like. And a lot of people are like, I don't want that in my comic books. That's stupid because it's been in there all along. Like, straight relationships is no different.
I don't think that DC really has an issue with taking chances. I think their bigger issue is calculating risk. I think
Ooh,
that's
that's a
their.
good way
I
to
think
put
that's
it.
their. I think that's their larger problem. And I think like you would think that everybody, like even Marvel, kind of learned their lesson. They kind of went into it some years back, and then they kind of backed away, and now they're easing a little bit into it a little bit more, and just like, okay, look, like just letting the waters flow as opposed to
Yes.
flooding.
Yeah, and I get that, but I also think that a lot of people still, and yeah, I'm sure I'm going to get hell from this, but I don't care. A lot of people still are not homophobic. That's not the right word. A lot of people still have reservations.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of those people aren't the younger people. We're not young reading these books. Not to be
Right.
mean, but a lot of us grew up on them. So a lot of them still have reservations. And I think that's almost, something that needs to be sought out internally, like, introspection and chill time. But it's also something that I don't want them to be afraid to put in the book just because one person might not want gay characters. Like,
Right.
and we're getting all this equating to being gay and grooming. Stop. They're just people. They exist. Stop. It's
Right.
actually insane.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Robert, thank you so much. Also, we finally get She-Hulk. The character in the comics has been fixed because of the show. I've been enjoying She-Hulk very much so. But because of one line in the trailer, they're bashing the show. Yeah, that line about fear and stuff. Hey, if you're bashing that, you're not female. Like, it's generally, yeah, that's kind of true. Like, go out and do something on a nighttime as a female by yourself. No, it is true. I hate to break it to you, but it sometimes can be scary. Easy as that, but yeah. Thank you, Robert.
I think that in itself is still kind of a blanket statement too, though, because not everybody does feel that way. Like I'll tell you, like my sister. I think the only place that she told me she's ever been scared was Oakland. She said in the middle of the day I felt scared there to even walk.
Oh
the
yeah,
streets.
I can't imagine. I
I've
remember
never
going to
been
Baltimore.
there, so I don't know. But like,
I remember going to Baltimore and being scared out of my fucking wits. I'm the small little girl, fucking 5'4". I mean, that's not as short as some people, but I'm just saying, like, just being absolutely petrified. But it's all depends on life experience, and clearly we're living through hers. Hers is in New York. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Trinity. I am going to bring in Teva. I really appreciate it. You were awesome. I need to get you on a panel sometime.
For sure. Anytime. Let me know.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Have a good one.
You too.
Oh,
hello,
shit.
Teva. How are you?
I'm good. I heard the conversation and I just can't say no more. I disagree with that 100% with John Gay did over there about because it's now gag and I really disagree with John Constantine because I said for the end of the day I never get a fight. Turn John about that with not unenforced and oh my god, Johnny crazy that they want to undo the damage, but you haven't talked about that for much of you at this point. But what's my real disagreement? I put in a private chat. Disagreeing the whole every character gay by saying we're not to build our development. That's my disagreement.
But they're not turning every character gay.
No, I know. Not turning every character gay. I mean, for two examples. One is the Tinder situation, which I know I'm gonna get heat on this, I know, but turning Tinder by someone would not be a good idea or earned. Why? Mostly because we have never ever seen a hint of Tinder being bisexual gay period in any other book. I didn't research. I didn't.
Who?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
shit. Sorry. Maybe I just slow down. Okay. Calm and collective. Basically, what I disagree with you, Auntie, is the whole Tinder situation and the
Oh,
John Tinder
Tim.
situation.
Okay, so I understand that one. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I'm not against it. There, like I said earlier, 35 years of comic books with Tim on it, and only I would say 10 of those years were there even really any hints that he could possibly be gay. I get that one. I do.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to John, when it comes to other characters, see, you said everybody, they're turning everyone gay, but
Well,
who
not
else
everybody.
besides John?
Maybe I should rephrase that. Like, I meant certain characters gay or bisexual. Like, as Tinder is one example. Second example is John Kent, which, as I said multiple times about that debacle, the problem with that idea is that we never ever got to see my boy grow up and mature. It just drives me crazy. We never see him actually get developed naturally. Like, we never got to see him explore childhood.
I know,
Yeah.
Super Sons was so good.
Yeah.
Hold on, Tava. Let me get this super chat. Why does it always come down to people saying if you don't want them to turn existing characters gay, all of a sudden you're homophobe? I didn't mean to say homophobe. Well, there is definitely homophobic people out there. Reese, you're not one of them. That's not what I meant. I meant some people still have reservations.
Yep.
I just think that some people are not comfortable with it. And honestly, not, and I'm not saying this to you, Reese. I'm saying this to people that aren't. Too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad. Like, honestly, if you're not comfortable with it, get comfortable with it. Like, this is a losing battle for you. And there's no need to be uncomfortable with somebody that just has it. Just all they want to do is be happy. All they want to do is exist. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sorry, Reese. I did not mean it like you were homophobic. I didn't mean that at all. But there are still all you have to do is look at some of my videos. Very homophobic people out there. But as far as John goes, he was a literal child before.
Yeah, he was.
So, I mean, I see no issue there making him bi.
I disagree with that completely because, as I said multiple times, and which I said in my own video before, which you would see my video, I think, the problem you don't have to him being bi them is not that. The problem is that we never get to see him grow up naturally. We didn't get to see that. If we got to that point naturally, and we got to see him grow out as a little kid to that point and reasonably bi, fine, I will accept it. The problem is, for the main argument is that we never get to see him grow up. It drives me crazy that we don't get to see him at the development. The second biggest enemy of everything for the shit.
Okay. Alrighty. That is not Tom Taylor's fault.
I know.
That is not Tom Taylor's fault. That was Bendis fucking with the character. And I think most people can agree that Bendis' run was not great. It wasn't even good. And what they did to John was really unfortunate. But with that being said, that's what we have to deal with now. Mm-hmm. And the book isn't bad. The book, honestly, in my opinion, I know a lot of people don't like Jay. I was a little he was a little sus at first. Now he's getting his own suit.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying now he's getting his own suit. I'm excited to see what they can do with this character, because if you notice, if you're reading the book, Tom Taylor does a lot of deep cuts, like this stuff with Nightwing. He does a lot of deep cuts with his Suicide Squad run with Wink and Airy. So what he's doing is a lot of really great world building that I'm hoping Jay and John can eventually have it pay off.
So, but as I said, I still mean Jay Nakamura is sus because the guy is a manipulative jerk from the very beginning. We get whipped away. Like, I didn't think about Jay Nakamura. I have a problem with him. One, he seems sus. Two, the second that he went into the Ken Fine, he smiled, the way everything exploding. Yeah, That sounded like a good boyfriend. That seemed almost suspicious. It's almost like the guy that they've been nipping my boyfriend at the very beginning. Like, I just can't stand this guy. Oh my god, this game way too
I know, but that again, that's not Tom Taylor's fault. So he's working with the aged up version of John Kent, and unfortunately, without we already did the prequel book from I forget what it was called. Super
Tomasi.
Son something.
Challenge Super
Yes.
Sons. Yep.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
No, the other one. Oh, Challenge
Oh yeah,
of
Avengers
Super
Super Sons.
Sons.
Avengers Super
Yep.
Sons. Avengers Super
but-
Sons and Challenge Super Sons. Avengers Super Sons with the first pick book. The second, Challenge. Challenge is a sequel to Avengers.
Yes. I love that book. It's so good.
I love it.
It's really great, but
Next Margot.
now we just have to look forward to the dynamic between Damien and him now. And we still that those books don't go away. Like
True.
they're still there to read. We just have to
They
give it a
also the
chance.
Super Sons one shot we got. That had to do with a great
That
story.
was good. That was really good.
Oh, we got a crowd on Shelby. Quick thing, you're trying to get Jay Lombo on his stream. She's playing it. Like, it's in the private chat.
But yeah, thank you so much for Tava
Wait,
for coming on. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. As far as the whole video turning gay or bisexual stuff, that stuff, in my opinion, is infuriating, but that's more of a long-term career. I maintain we should just use other gay characters. Like, just use Apollo, use Midnighter, use those characters, use Bunker. What Bunker they on miniseries?
They are using that in them in Action Comics.
True, yes, but Bunker has not been.
Yeah, Bunker not right now.
Yeah, but
and they also have Crush.
Yeah, Crush. That's true. Oh my god, we forgot about Crush. Where is she?
I don't know. After that run with her dad, I don't know.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, there's one more disagreement at the whole MCU thing, which, okay. I don't know what's going on with that topic, but I do know some people are pissed off about that. But I don't get it. Why? Like, am I with anybody and we out there like obsessing like people like you Shield because she's got this wait, not what am I saying? Shield, she's got the ability to take out the whole no, she's a kind, you idiots. Like, have you not read Shield Con before? Like,
yeah.
I don't get that logic. I get the problem with that show with the CGI not great, but they have time to fix it. As a Ms. Marvel, okay, I have a major problem with Marvel. Not come on, Secret Gator. Two damn problems. One, the power change. Why? Why change the power to cosmic?
Yeah, that's weird.
That didn't make any sense. Because what power that they made a character great? Not get a power, it's power person and power story. Take away the cosmic stuff. Not coming. Take the inhuman. Okay, the human stuff. I get why they took that way because of the inhuman stuff was a failure. So fine. You want to change back because the human stuff. Fine. But the second you do that, you change the character at the origin. It makes no sense. It makes mess and just I don't understand that logic. And it's infuriating. I'm hoping the show that does prove out to be good because spoiler if you've not seen Doctor Strange More Than Madness. I need to tell you, so Richard, have you seen Doctor Strange More Than Madness, or should I get spoilers or no?
Yeah, go ahead. Just earmuffs if you haven't seen it.
Okay. Spoiler. Sorry, I mean spoiler. A bit of in the Illuminati, we get to see in the 5 million Luna. We get to see at the Professor X, which is awesome. As you can see in the trailer. Captain Carter. Mr. Fantastic, A. Richards. And Captain Marvel, not the other Captain Marvel, but
Black Bolt, right?
Yeah, Manga's mother. Yep. And the final member we got Black Bolt, aka the King of the Inhumans, who actually is the same actor who played him in the Inhuman show, which I didn't know about that at the time. I did not know it was him because. Wow, that's a pretty cool. That's pretty deep cut. That's pretty badass. And Black Bolt did appear in the Illuminati. And this can also confirm, and that humans do exist in the MCU. Now, the Inhuman TV show, that thing's garbage. That thing's garbage. We don't know that. But since we now have humans in the MCU, kind of sort of, we don't know. We don't know that in the main timeline because they didn't. So when I'm getting myself. This could probably open the door to Kamala Khan being human. Now, does this mean we can finally get humans find back in the not the comedy, find in the in pop culture? Maybe, hopefully, but the thing is though, now you have Black Bolt in that Earth, and now we have Black Bolt in the main universe now. So that means we could get Ms. Marvel her original powers back. I don't know. I hope they do that for the show because I don't want her to stay caught on 24/7. That's a bad idea. But that's just me.
I think the best thing, in my opinion, to come out of Doctor Strange 2 was Clea. Like, honestly,
Clea
I'm
was
not
great.
really super interested, but I think I'm excited to see what they do with Clea.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm very excited. But I love Scarlet Witch in that movie. She was scary and not very. She was intimidating, and she was basically insane but awesome. Oh, her justice. I don't understand gay people. Why does it matter they're gay? They're not treating them in any way, shape, or form. Be better or not better for anything. Come on, people do better. I agree, her justice.
Yep. All right, Tava, I am gonna bring in Joseph, but thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you.
Anytime, Tristan.
Bye, Tava.
Bye.
Tava love his Super Sons. It's so good though. Joseph, hello.
Hello again.
How
How
are
have you
ya?
been? Oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing great. I skipped work early so I can lay down on the couch. It's awesome.
That's the best.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this couch just for me. Okay. Well, so we have an ongoing feud over here, or do we? Do we
We
have an
definitely,
ongoing feud, or is
yeah,
that the right way to say
kinda.
it? All right, good.
Just
Okay,
an
yeah, it's
ongoing
good enough.
disagreement.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so I'm going to take it a related but distinct direction. I wanted to fight you on the pronoun wars. I'm not for it. I don't like it, and I want it to stop.
What? What?
The
I
the
thought you
whole
were all about freedom of speech.
I'm about freedom of speech, yes, but freedom of speech is also a freedom to disagree.
Nobody said you couldn't disagree.
Wait. Oh, okay. Sorry. I misunderstood what you said. Well, that also does depend who you ask, because it hasn't happened. Obviously, it hasn't happened to me. I have my job. You look in the news, some people are claiming they got fired because they accidentally misgendered somebody, and I find that's just a step
What?
too far. They
I've
claim it.
never
It
heard
hasn't happened to
that.
me. I haven't seen it. Like I said, hasn't happened to anyone I know.
Right.
I don't I don't really look into these things too well. I hear them. Supposedly that's going on, but the fighting over pronoun use is real.
Okay,
We're
so
just seeing that.
why does the use of different pronouns bother you? I guess let's start there.
The use of this is the issue that it comes down to. This has actually happened to a friend of mine. He was working at a gas station at the time. So someone walks in, pays $20 for a pump. My friend said, "Hey, bro, you want your receipt?" Turns around, and the guy was 6'2" with a huge beard, and said, "Hey, I ain't a bro, okay?" Yeah, and then you probably know where this is going. It's going on. It's turns into a fight over about how you're supposed to ask people beforehand what pronouns they want to be called by, and turned into a 20-minute lecture, loud lecture, and in front of a cop the whole time. By the way, that's the funny part. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Is the people picking fights over these things. It's not it's not the fact that people like this exist. By no means think that's what I'm saying. It's the
Okay.
people that are picking fights over pronoun use. Like the people that right there, by example, the people say you should be asking what people want to be called for, let's
Okay,
say,
but
for
I
the day.
think generally, for the most part, if you make an honest mistake about someone's pronouns, they're not going to be rude about it. They're just going to correct you. Like, as far as a job situation goes, that's up to the employer, right? We have
Right.
freedom. We're a capitalist society. If that's part of their agreement, then you have to abide by that. That's why people are allowed to have those rights. So if an employer says, "Yeah, I think it's I think you should probably just be nice, use their pronouns, da 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 da," and you keep
Mhm.
going and saying he instead of she or they instead of he, even when you're doing it to a point it's on purpose to be demeaning, then yeah, why would an employer put up with somebody that's going to be that petty?
Well, here's what it comes down to. You and I, again, about the same age, so we're both old enough to remember this. There were days where people fought over whether to say black people, black American, African American, one or two others that are escaping me at the moment. But absolutely any one of those words was bound to offend somebody. You could come across anybody that said, "You don't call me, or don't even call me black person, just call me black." I've seen that before too.
Right.
People
I
will, there's no such, in other words, there's no such thing as political correctness that's going to make everybody happy. There's no such thing as making everybody happy. That
right.
was actually supposed to be something that we learned in the free speech culture, is just understanding that people can disagree.
Right.
But that's not what happens. So it does become a fight. It does become increasingly tense. And people just take it a step too far just because they're offended. Let me show you another example. You can look this up right now. It happened, I think it was summer 2020. It's not a gender thing, it was a race thing, even though shouldn't be. It was a USC professor teaching Chinese. Does the story ring a bell yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, not yet. This guy was teaching Chinese at USC for years. I think decades, more like it. And he was teaching a Chinese word that native speakers will use while
Yes,
they're
I
grabbing
do
it.
remember this story.
Okay, so and then you saw there's a bunch of black students said it was deliberate, even though it did. It's a lesson he'd been teaching for 20 years. He never got in trouble for it until then. You see what I mean?
Yeah, and that is a weird situation where I think it was an idea or of miscommunication. Like, there's no reason it should have gotten that far. There's no reason why the school shouldn't have intervened and been like, "Look, this is what it means. This is da 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 da." That seems more like, did the man lose his job? I don't remember.
No, I heard he was just removed from teaching that course for the rest of the semester, and then business as usual from there.
So it wasn't. It did get resolved. So this is
It,
no different than any other disagreement. Like, there's situations where we all are gonna. That's a perfect example of the opposite of your argument, because they were able to solve it.
so, well, what do you mean? How solved? I don't think
You-
that was solved. I don't think the people. I don't think. Oh shit, my phone's dying. I don't think. Okay, I got the charger in there. Right? Sorry about that. I don't think the people who attempted to bring forward charges or who tried to get this man fired, I don't think they learned anything. I think they took offense on principle. I
well,
think
that's
it was.
silly, and that's where they should be taught how to be tolerant and how to understand a situation, that all languages are different, right?
Mhm,
That's silly to me. But it doesn't seem like the
mhm.
man was harmed by it or anything in that situation. And unfortunately, if they didn't learn anything, that's on them. They
Uh,
should have learned something from that situation.
I think
That's a
I
teaching moment.
it is a teaching moment. I don't know that they did learn anything though. I don't think so. I think because I've been seeing people who excessively politicize things my whole life. They're not looking to learn. They're looking to speak and
Isn't
be
that what you're
acknowledged.
doing right now, though, with the
Do I'm
pronouns?
speaking with the pronoun? Well, the disagreement. You also understand that the disagreement comes from the fact that we in our brains are ready to distinguish male and female distinctions. Let's say you or I, for at our respective jobs, for some reason we decide we need to use the restroom we know we're not supposed to use, but you are at our respective jobs, we get fired for it. We're both going to know exactly why we got fired. We don't get to say anything like male and female are contrived concepts that society forces on us, that force us to believe that we've been fooling ourselves for thousands of years through all of human history and maybe even before that. We don't get to say anything like that. We will, if you somehow get a case before a judge, they will know why, me as a male, you as a female, you're in the wrong restrooms. They're going to know. Their brains are going to be ready to know which is which. They're going to know what either one of us did. It's not a tricky thing. This is something that we were born ready to identify and understand. When it comes to people, let me just take a moment to acknowledge people who say they just don't identify either way. Fine, they don't identify either way. Good. That's why they don't. I don't. I never met anyone like that, so I've never had the opportunity to even ask the right questions.
Right. So
I've
you have
dismissed
a
them.
biased experience. Meaning that you've never interacted with somebody that maybe identifies different and gotten their side of the situation.
The only time I've ever met anyone like that, I've met gay guys for years that said they felt like women. They think they were born in the wrong body, whatever. They call him he or she. It didn't make a difference. I've done that before. I'm talking about the people who say for some reason they don't identify one way or another. That specifically, I have not met before.
Okay, so somebody that's a non-binary.
Yeah. So someone who yeah, like I said, they may. I don't know what it is. I honestly I don't even know what I'm supposing at this point. Like I said, they just say they don't identify. I have not gotten to know anyone like that, so I don't know why they say they don't identify. You see what I mean? So I haven't had the personal time with anybody like that to actually get to know why they think that way.
I think so your problem with this is using the pronoun they, right? Is that what I'm kind of taking from this?
What I'm fighting is the idea that the idea of forcing gender neutrality as our default assumption, and then figure things out from there for every person we meet. Because there are people who take it that far.
I don't.
It's
there are,
not,
but you have to also remember that there are people that take everything too far. This is not unlike anything else. You could compare it to the Buffalo shooting, taking stuff too far. You can compare it to the Snyder Cult, taking stuff too far. There's always going to be those people. They're the loudest, but the smallest minority. You can't accept their rule as the normal. And I think that's the problem is generally I don't see people having a big issue using the correct pronoun. Okay, so if you got the incorrect pronoun, most of the time they're just going to correct you. You say sorry, you move about your day. Like most of the time it's not an issue. I don't see why we can't just have that amount of tolerance for somebody. There's no reason we can't just have that little bit of empathy and humanity within us to just say, okay, that's fine. Like you would never look at somebody like Blair White or Samantha Lux and say he. You just wouldn't. And there's no reason why we should when it's not a political issue. It's a humanity issue. It's treating people like humans and treating people like they deserve to be respected.
I'm not saying they are not people, by no means. So just in case anybody missed that part, by no means am I saying they are not people.
No. I don't mean you specifically. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I didn't think you were saying that about me. Just in case anybody missed that.
Oh, okay.
This is not a question of whether or not they are people. This is really, it just comes down to a question of what are we fighting about? Because there are fights. You acknowledge
there is
that
no
part.
fight here. It's people not
right
willing
here.
to be tolerant. No. I mean, in general, in the world, a little bit of tolerance goes a really long way. A really long way. And if you're able to treat the person next to you, no matter if they are he, she, they, or they, Why?
Mhm.
And if they feel respected and better about their day, I feel like a lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the misgendering is simple bullying.
Mhm. No, don't get
Not
me
if
wrong.
it's done on accident. I don't mean if it's done on accident.
And I do understand that some people are probably going to follow someone on Twitter just to keep saying the opposite to harass someone.
Yes, that's
All
what I
right.
mean. That kind of bullying.
And that right there, why are we calling that bullying, first of all? Because bullying implies an advantage. What advantage do they have over you if
Let
they're
me get
just
this
sending
super
tweets?
chat real
Go ahead.
quick. I'm sorry,
Sure.
Joseph.
Go ahead.
I like how all these stories are just cherry picking the best and scapegoat queer people at the worst. And I don't think that's done on purpose. I think that's a lived experience thing.
Mhm.
Because I understand, because I've been making sure, at least in my own life, that I seek out other ideas, and I think that's where I started to change a little bit. But I do think it would be, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I feel like if I say this, it's gonna sound dickish, but I do feel like it would benefit you just to seek out somebody's story, just to listen to what somebody has to say. And honestly, when you're able to humanize somebody, whether it's through a video or, having a conversation, it can give you a different perspective. And sometimes that's all you need.
In the event of using pronouns that are not preferred, why does somebody have to receive that as dehumanizing? I don't see that any differently from somebody getting my name wrong. Call me Steve when my name is Joe. Oops, shit happens. I don't
Yeah,
understand why
and
it
and
has to
usually
be.
when somebody gets your name wrong, they usually try to correct it, right?
I would say usually at some point I just stop fighting. It's, they know who I am. They know my face. They know there's a name to a face. I'll just leave it at that. As far as with pronouns, like I said, I don't understand why it has to be seen as an attack.
I
That's
don't think it
that's
is
really
seen
what it
as an
comes.
attack generally. I think the times it's seen as an attack is usually like Twitter bullshit, right? Which I've said for years, I suggest everybody
Mhm.
stay away from that platform. But I
I
don't
don't
think
even
it
use it.
generally is. You would never look at somebody, calling you Steve on accident as an attack. You would correct them and move on about your day. Like, I think that's generally the majority. What you're listening to is a fringe minority. And it gives, just like I tend to do with the Snyder Call. I listen to the fringe minority because they're idiots, and then I generalize. And I've tried to be better about that. But I think when you generalize stuff, you take away from the individual. And I think
Right.
that's kind of I don't think most people would see it as an attack. I really don't.
Hmm. I don't think so either. I do agree that media that has a way of making
Yes.
mountains out of tiny little pebbles. I agree with you. Media has a way of making things seem like emergencies when they're really not. Like in Southern California, where I am. So what you hear from rightist media all the time, you hear that this is some kind of leftist paradise. Not really. The politicians are about as screwed up as people say. But as far as the social climate, not really. Like what I'm talking about here, misgendering. We were talking about it at work today. We just basically there's nothing I haven't said already. We're all in agreement that people are getting upset over nothing,
Right.
you know. And
But also at the same point, I think you're getting upset over a little bit of nothing. If you're
I'm not taking
unwilling
it. I'm not
unwilling to
taking it
do
personal.
any pronoun things. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's
Well, if you're
silly. It's not Is that really gonna matter in 5 years?
well, I think a lot of things stop mattering on a large scale after a few years. If you, especially as people feel like they are just afraid to say the wrong thing, maybe they'll just stop talking, or maybe I think that's something that happens. That silence actually does enable these kinds of changes. So 5 years ago, like look at the political divide now. It's
Mhm.
something that was always there, but hell, think back 10 years ago, or even even think back to how you were talking about gatekeeping in comics. There were days where you just looked at who liked comics. You like comics, cool, that's it. It wasn't. the gatekeeping was not there. I agree with that. I remember back then that there was no gatekeeping in comics.
Right.
It was just whether or not you enjoyed it. But then gatekeeping became a thing, right?
Yes,
and I bet
absolutely.
you 5 years, and I bet you be 5 years before it became a thing. Somebody said, in 5 years, do you think any of this will matter? Well, people have a way of making little things matter. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but I still don't see a huge issue with something like that. Nobody's asking a whole bunch from you. I get it. It's something that you feel like is forced, and I don't think most people in the LGBTQ community look at it as forced. Just look at it as a necessity. You know what I mean? Like, just a little common respect for your fellow person.
But what if it? How is it not forced? If it's how is it a necessity but not forced? And people didn't see the
I said
necessity before.
necessity, like
Oh, nice.
NICE.
So sorry. Oh, okay. All right, I missed that. All right, then a
It's
moment
my
ago.
lisp. I apologize.
No, well, plus I'm on my phone. It's a speaker, so it's like it just sounds like that through this app. So no, you're perfectly fine. Okay, so we mentioned something a moment ago. You mentioned effort. Okay, then let's use the effort argument.
Mm-hmm.
Back to my earlier statements when I said that we are well equipped to identify male and female, yet based on the obvious on the exteriors. So if effort is an argument, why don't we stick to what we were already doing?
I think for the most part we do.
I do as well. But you are seeing it. You are mostly seeing it in politics. That is true. Like I said, in my social climate, in my immediate social environment, most of the stuff actually isn't even really talked about. It comes up on very rare occasions.
Right.
When I really think
and it
about it.
also depends on, the company you keep, right? It depends upon who you interact with on a daily basis. That's why I'm saying, like, I find it, and this is gonna sound dickish, so I apologize ahead of time. I find it extremely petty when people won't use a simple pronoun. Like, nobody's asking you to fucking run a mile. They're asking you to say, he instead of she if someone is transgendered or something like that. Like, just, I don't know. I don't find it as something that bothers me.
Then to somebody, let's frame that as a hypothetical. So you say, what is let's see, you said a moment ago, so someone says he instead of she, you're asking about the added effort, right? Or the perceived small added effort, right?
Correct.
To actually just, okay. Is somebody wrong to disagree with wanting to use that effort at all?
Yeah, you can disagree, but I would say it's kind of dickish.
But why is that?
Because
I'm not asking you because I know the answer. I'm asking why.
It's just disrespectful. It's just disrespectful. It's just like somebody is sitting there calling you a female all day. You would get a little irritated.
Hello? Oh, there you are. Okay. People can call me things. I also don't have to respond. But what I'm seeing is not.
Right,
I'm
but
not
if you're
seeing
at
that
work,
argument.
you have to.
Well, to a point. It depends. Like if somebody keeps getting my name wrong, like sometimes supervisors do that. They create nicknames for some of the workers. The workers say that's not my name, but they just don't respond.
Right.
They can't get busted for it.
And that's fine, but when you're in an environment like work, you have to abide by their rules. So it all depends on the corporation. I'm probably going to lose subs after this. Don't worry. I don't care if I lose a few subs over not wanting to be petty. I'm okay with that.
You think you're going to lose subscriptions for that?
I don't know. That's what somebody said in the chat. I don't think so. And that's fine.
They're just dicking around. They're having fun with you. You know that. By the way,
yeah.
when your cat is pointing at the empty bowl over and over, that means feed me.
Right? Oh my god. At least they're not confused.
At least you're not confused.
Today.
No, food isn't something. Oh, that. Are they okay? No,
Yeah.
you know, you say today.
Like,
I don't know. The
you
90s
just
still young, right?
yeah, exactly. Like, I constantly yelling at Hush. You don't have to hump your brother. It's okay.
I thought it was always Bane. I thought he was always on top.
Usually, but lately it's been Hush. They go in cycles.
He's not the pitcher anymore. He's the catcher.
Exactly. Freaking
Oh,
cats. They're so funny.
so here's just what I'm getting at. Like I said, our intuition is really well prepared to identify male and female. What I'm seeing more, I'm not seeing a lot of people. I'm not seeing a lot of people even trying to pick this fight. Actually, like I said, I really don't see it. We have even at my warehouse. I mean, we have some really gay guys. We have one guy. Not only does he walk with a limp wrist about nipple height, he was a manager at a makeup store before he took this job. Okay, Dan and well, shit, I'm not supposed to give his name, but
Yeah.
he's a really good guy. You know, they get along with him. He said multiple times I think he's been with us about 2 years, at least. Yeah, at least 2 years now. He said multiple times that he feels like a female. He understands. He knows he looks male. That he will not pick that. He will not pick a fight. And I don't think anyone actually calls him female anyway. But this is a guy who has openly said repeatedly he identifies as female. But he doesn't seem to be into this pronoun fight that's going on. And like I said, I know we're talking about vocal minorities, but vocal minorities have a way of being heard. They do have a way of influencing opinions sometimes. So really,
Oh, of course.
I'm just trying to explore this in principle. I want to know what are we achieving? What are we achieving with that fight?
Tolerance.
I don't think there's any intolerance though, not inherently. At least for
I
me, I
mean,
don't think.
you just said you wouldn't use someone's pronouns. That's intolerance.
Why?
Because it's I look at it as being, like I said, being petty, being kind of a bully. Like you're unwilling. That'd be just like somebody going around at work today calling you a girl all day, or going around and call you Josephine or something. That's kind of a dick move.
Like I said, there were, and it's probably still going around. There were days where people fought over black people, black American, African
Yeah,
American.
I actually do
We-
remember that a little bit.
But now here's the thing: you could use any one of them. Somebody's going to be offended. You're like maybe you'll apologize because you didn't want to upset somebody, but at the same time, you're
Right.
thinking,
I would.
I know what those words mean. I think you know what those words mean. Why are you in your mind? You're thinking, what was the point? Like, why are you adding context that isn't there? These are simple descriptive terms. Just like
Right. I
you
just think
probably
people in the LGBTQ community and the black community have had such prejudice on them for so long. Their natural state is to be defensive. So
Mhm.
I understand it, and I have no problem apologizing if I say something wrong, because generally I'm not trying. My motives are not ever malicious. There are people out there that their motives, their default is to be malicious. And if that's the case, then yeah, I'm gonna call you out for it. There's no reason to fucking wake up and still have that prejudice in your heart. And I guess that's kind of an old term, but I am old. But
You're 35.
that is I know, but still, that's their defense, right? Their wall's
Mhm.
already up.
Right.
It's natural for them to feel like they're being attacked because they're so fucking used to it, unfortunately.
They people can get used to it because it's real. They can get used to it because they imagine it. I've had these conversations with people too. A few black people, like one of my supervisors, to tell you, she would have said that she got pulled over in the middle of the night. She said she's sweating balls because she thought she was going to get shot. First thing you tell her, where are the bullet holes? Okay, now people don't know this by looking at a fucking Disney character taking a shit on a log right now. Okay, I'm not
What? What?
my avatar.
Oh! I'm like,
You
what?
forget-
Did I miss some news? Okay, now I get it.
I still have to send you the original. I actually have 3 of those, but I got to send you the original so you can see it in full. It's it's really funny. Anyway, so people don't know this by looking at me. I'm looking at the chat right now. But anyway, you'll know this by looking at me. I'm not white. I have never had issue, and the Latinos tell all the same stories. That's something that never gets talked about. They talk about issues like police brutality and all the like. I've heard it all before too. Most of us don't have bullet holes in. Most of them don't have bullet holes in. I get been pulled over really only a handful of times. I never felt scared once. No cop ever intimidated
I am
me.
scared. I am white as a fucking ghost. I am so white, I think ketchup is spicy, and I am scared every single time I get pulled over by a cop. It is just again, going back to
You
lived
sound
experience.
you sound neon white.
I am. Like, just the whitest girl you've ever met. But, like, I'm still scared. I'm still fucking
Mhm.
scared. I think it just, like
But what
you
I'm
said,
getting
it
at,
all depends on your lived experience.
and sometimes lived experience is based on propaganda. Sometimes people are told you have to believe that because of your skin color,
Or
you're a
that
target.
Disney has a gay agenda. It goes both ways.
They can do that too. Like you see what I mean? Those same thing. Like I'm watching that story unfold too. They talking about agendas. I'm not trying too hard to keep up with it. I just look at the headlines. I don't know what they're talking
Right.
about either. Okay, but look, we can use that as an example too. People look, people perceive threats that generally are not there, and that's what I'm telling you when it comes to minorities and cops. A lot of times the threat really isn't there. You listen to their stories, and I've heard this so many times. I'm just done with it. Say, I was just minding my own business, and this cop just rolls up. And some of them actually said they were arrested. Guess why they were arrested? They were drinking in public. They were drunk in public. Some people got arrested at a stop. Why? Because one guy tells us that he got busted because he had I think it was a 24 ounce in his
Yeah.
front seat opened. Okay, in California, you cannot have open containers anywhere in the car. Anything alcoholic, you're not supposed to consume it while driving, obviously. You can't have
Right.
it open in the front seat. You can't have it open in the back seat. It has to be in the back seat. So you get pulled over and you have an open container in the front seat, even if you weren't drinking, that's still the law. The cop didn't make up rules to bust you for. And I get what some people say. They say aren't there bigger problems in the world? Yeah, there might be, but that cop found you. It's the same thing when people are speeding. The speed limit's 45 and they're all going 60. The cop got you. It doesn't matter if
Wait,
everybody.
hold on. I gotta ask a question.
Go ahead.
Are you one of the people that like fucking suck off cops? Like love cops?
No, no.
Okay. I just had to ask because your story, like, yeah, I completely agree. You need to follow the rules, but like, there's been a lot of situations we've seen where people are getting pulled over and getting shot when they shouldn't have. There's a lot of power hungry cops out there.
No argument for me, and no harm. Now, yes, I do have cops in my family, and they will also tell you too. Some of these newer cops watch too much TV. So all of the ones in my family, they made it to sergeant or lieutenant at least, and they can tell you the same thing. Some of these guys, they think it's just about getting the gun, going in, going after the bad guy. That's not real policing. And new cops actually do get fired quite a bit. That's why the police department is always part of why the police department is always hiring. And yes, two things to address. Some cops, yes, are just absolutely foul. Like people talk about, they talk about the ones that make the news, and that's hit and miss.
Right.
Like we had an issue recently out here in LA at a Burlington coat factory in a mall. So someone called the cops because the suspect. Well, here's what happened. The suspect was swinging a bike lock on a chain. What happened? Whoever made the 911 call, She said that she heard gunshots. So
Oh, for
cops showed
fuck's
up.
sake.
Yes, but well, let me finish though. So cops showed up ready to address gunshots. So they showed up as a team with guns drawn. An
Oh my God.
officer, they found the suspect. Now, just so you know, he's not innocent because he was swinging the chain around.
Oh
That's
my
that's just
God. That doesn't deserve to have guns on, or fucking
he
guns drawn on you.
he knocked an old woman down by beating her in the head.
Okay, well then we're gonna, yeah, fuck that. Fuck
Okay.
that dude.
No, the story gets worse. So an officer pursues him. They go upstairs to the coat factory. Officer pursues him with the rifle. He shot, and those, if you don't know, those guns can go through your engine. Those bullets will go right through the engine of your car. Well, unfortunately, in getting the suspect, this officer killed a 14-year-old girl that was
Jesus
hiding with her.
fucking Christ.
She was hiding with her mom inside the fitting rooms.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not. No, I'd pull up the story if I could. I'm not in
No,
YouTube right now.
I believe you, but that's beyond ridiculous that for one, I don't know. All cops need to become Batman and realize that life is sacred and it should not be taken. 14 years old. That is a child that deserved to live, that deserved to graduate high school, that deserved to get married. Come on now. That is
And no,
why my sympathy runs thin for a lot of the power hungry cops.
but now let me ask you why you called him power hungry. He was aiming at the suspect. He had no way of
Clearly, he
knowing
needs more
anybody.
training.
No, he hit the suspect. That's what I'm saying. He hit
He
the
hit both
suspect
of them?
because the bullets exited. He
Oh
had no
my
way of knowing.
God.
That's what I'm saying. The bullets. He had no way of knowing anyone was in that room. He never even went that direction. Here's how it looks. He goes up an escalator. All the cops turn right looking for somebody. They all witness that the suspect hit this old woman in the head. The officer goes forward after him. So again, up the escalator to the right. He goes to the old woman on the floor, sees blood on the floor. He says, "We got blood." Sees the suspect, drew the gun, fired. He
Oh my
what was
God.
on the what Here's what he saw. He saw the suspect and a wall. He would not have seen anybody on the other side. It could have
Why
been the
didn't he
president
try
of
a
the.
taser?
Well, again,
Did the guy
he
have a
stopped.
weapon
Yes,
besides the chain?
the chain and bike lock. No,
Nothing besides that?
no. But you have to understand, the cops don't know that going in. And I know people don't like that story. Here's the thing: we are watching from the comfort of our homes. We're not in the moment.
I
You,
understand
you
that.
and I'm by no means am I saying what happened to the girl is really just. I agree, it's unfair. I don't see fairness in blaming the officer. Not even in that case. Now compare that to, there was a killing years ago that was, I think it was
I-
2016. It was Philando Castile. Does that name ring a bell?
Kind of, actually. I don't
Philando
know why
Castile.
though.
He was the man. He was the passenger, and so he wasn't even the reason the cop pulled this car over. His girlfriend was the driver. The cop went in on his side, and they followed the law to the letter. And this was in Georgia. Georgia law requires that gun owners disclose when they have their firearms with them. Philando said, "Full disclosure, because the law requires, I have my firearm with me." Now the officer flips out. He says, "Don't reach for it." And you can see his girlfriend recorded the whole thing on her phone. By the way, it was live on Facebook.
Jesus.
He says, I'm not reaching for it," over and over. And the cop reached for his gun, flipped out, yelling "gun," shot Philando dead.
Fuck that cop. I'm sorry.
My thoughts exactly. And the shittiest thing, he was actually found not guilty.
Of course he was. Because cops have very, very little accountability.
It is really hard to hold them accountable.
Like,
That is true, and I don't agree with that at all. That's the reason. That's really what I was leading to. I just wanted you to know I don't agree with that. I think that was one of the worst things that has ever been captured on video. And whether or
is
not,
that where he was? Is that where he was crawling on the floor?
no, you're thinking of. I think I know the one you're talking about. That was at a restaurant. There was actually two cops on one, and yeah, the guy's hands were clearly pinned. The officer just flipped out saying "gun."
Yeah,
No, that's
fucking
that's
gang members with badges a lot of the time, and I just can't have sympathy. There's no reason why you should fucking why there should be this type of situation in America right now where people are scared of, not all, again, I don't want to generalize too much, but yeah, a lot of people are scared. And it would you were supposed, like, I remember when I was younger having my family say, if you get lost, don't talk to anybody, if find a cop. Like, do they
Yeah.
still say that? Like, I don't know.
I haven't had to talk to a kid about those things
But I'm
yet,
just
so
saying, like, it feels like there's been a shift with very little accountability. Like, like, even when it comes to the cop, I can't think of his name, with George Floyd, you still have people going, "Oh my God, he's innocent. Oh my God, it just."
I can explain that, not agree with it, because here's what people also need to know. Two things. First off, chiefly what happened, what Derek Chauvin, the officer, did was absolutely unfounded in reason, except that he just showed complete negligence for someone's well-being.
Yeah.
And whether or not Chauvin meant to actually cause death, obviously irrelevant. But the negligence stands out. And here's also the rest of it. George Floyd was actually not a good person. You
Who
can
cares?
look up.
Who
Well,
cares?
no, I'm not saying. Here's what I'm saying. The world. Here's what I'm saying. Somebody who was not a good person died, and Derek Chauvin is in prison where he belongs. I don't think he should live either, though.
Why does it
I
matter what
don't.
kind of a person he was? He still murdered somebody.
I'm not saying that's what I'm saying though. I just want people, because people are framing him as a hero. Like, this is a man that put a
No, I
gun
don't think
to a woman's
I do.
stomach.
I don't like the hero worship, but I can agree with you there. But it doesn't matter who he killed. It could have been anybody under there. Their background, it doesn't mean they
Right.
weren't murdered.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying George deserves to die. I'm talking about, because you're asking why people are framing Derek as innocent. I'm trying to provide as much context as possible, because there were. So here's what I'm getting at in short. One, there were reasons to dislike Floyd, and then two, the medical exam, which appeared in court, it did show that George died of I believe they said a lack of oxygen of sorts.
Right.
But when they asked what caused the lack of oxygen, the autopsy could not show it. So people looked at that and said, "Well, why isn't this man clear?" Well, here's the reason that Derek Chauvin is in prison right now. It's called the felony murder rule. Anybody dies while you attempt a felony, then you are automatically charged with that death. So you could rob a bank and somebody could have a heart attack. You could still be charged. Being convicted is different. Somebody dies 2 days later, well, that doesn't make sense. But you will be charged with any death on the scene of a felony. The reason Derek Chauvin is in prison right now is because of that rule. And it's a very controversial rule, because it would seem that guilt is determined by so little. But then look, it works. You get someone like Derek Chauvin off the streets, possibly for good.
Yeah,
So
but I don't know. I don't care what kind of person they are. And that's what I've noticed the right does that a lot, dig into backgrounds and then try to and I know Rittenhouse was found innocent, and I didn't really watch the trial. I don't know much about it. but they're, oh my god, he got some pedos off the street, da 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 da. Like,
Mhm.
don't do that. I don't know anything about these people, and I'm not defending them, but
Right.
nobody deserves to die by a cop. Nobody deserves to have that negligence when it comes to your line of work. If
And I,
I'm negligent in my work, people die. People could
yes.
die. But I'm not, and I know what I'm doing. There needs to be more training. There needs to be if people were doing that defund stuff. No, there needs to be more funding. There needs to be an
Mhm.
end to qualified immunity. There needs to be a lot of issues that are taken care of. But a summer of riots and stuff did nothing. Nothing changed.
It was never going to. Like
That's
what?
stupid.
Like how many times have Democrats tried to? They have a bill for. Well, first they tried to pass two bills that would have ended qualified immunity. Neither one of them worked, and they only proposed it. First off, it was politically relevant, and then next, they didn't have the seats in the Senate to pass the bill. They knew it wasn't
Right.
going anywhere.
Right.
I don't think people understand. Democrats need cops too. I'm in California. There's not a hell of a lot of defund talk going on. Sometimes at city levels, but then you still have the county sheriffs. So what happens there? The city cops go away. All the cities have to do is get a contract with the sheriffs, and then you still have cops. It's just appeasing people superficially for political reasons. A lot of that was never going to go anywhere. Defunding police was not going to go anywhere in California or any Democratic state because Democratic politicians need cops too. Like what was her
Yep.
name? Maxine Waters. She has never been in public talking down on police without police protection nearby. Need I say more? Need
It's
I say
fucking
more?
mind blowing. And we can sit here and have these conversations, but nobody fucking listens. Nobody does anything. But the fucked up thing to me is there was a summer of BLM riots and nothing happened. But once they thought something happened with the election, it was a whole all states are passing shit. Like come on. Show your
Yeah,
fucking bias some more, you pieces of shit
and
politicians.
no argument for me. That was that. Like I said, it's always politically relevant.
Yep.
You know the voting changes. First off, I agree with those. Something people don't know is that California's actually been trying to get those for years. They even used to have very similar rules for voting in California. For some
Right.
reason, like showing ID to vote. Yeah, that actually used to be required, but then the state policy changed so that all you had to do was give a name and an address. So I guess it's just not enforced. But California has actually been supportive
Right.
of that for a very long time.
I just find it funny once, like, yeah, I, I'm gonna make it a little racial here, and I
Go
apologize
nuts.
ahead of time. But
Don't.
once there's a whole bunch of BLM riots, nothing happens. But some fucking a bunch of white people get mad about an election that their candidate lost, and all of these rules come. Like, come
Mhm.
on, stop it. Oh my
No,
goodness.
the political bias is real. No argument for me. The
Yes,
political bias is real.
absolutely. I have to
No,
wrap up though. I apologize. I always feel bad, Joseph. You're always on, and I'm like, gotta go.
I'm
But
always
yeah.
last. No, but I did that on purpose. No, well, here's the thing. Like, I got home from work. I just need to lay down anyway. So I was probably going to be last no matter what. So that's
Well, I
okay. That's
appreciate
perfectly
it.
fine.
I always enjoy these conversations because even if we disagree, they're
Mhm.
always still interesting for sure. So yes, hopefully
They're
next week
always
I will have
productive.
a ladies' night. But I tomorrow, guys, I have me and Bianca reviewing Moon Knight, much less political, much less political, and then of course the last week of the JD trial. What do you, just out of curiosity, how do you think he's framing up here?
Well, people have to understand two things. A few things actually. Because they're treating it like a criminal case. That's how they're responding to it. And this is
Right,
not a criminal case. This is a civil case. What Johnny is there to establish is that Amber's speech was not constitutional. not that it
Right.
was disagreeable. It can be disagreeable and still constitutional. It's not supposed to result in damage done.
Right.
So it's 100%. Here's what the jury's going to be told, that they have to determine if if Amber's speech was made with actual malice. In other words, she either knew she was making false statements, or she was just completely negligent for the facts of the matter, and she published her statements anyway, resulting in the harm done. Those are the instructions they're going to get. The standard is balance of probabilities. I don't know what that district requires. California does 7 to 12 in civil cases. I think someone early on, about a month ago, said that Virginia requires 10. So let's just assume that's true. You just need 10 people to make a determination, and it could be a few weeks.
Yeah.
It could be a while before they figure it out. So with that in mind, if I'm in a fair-minded jury and I'm trying to weigh whether or not Amber purposely misrepresented Johnny, it looks to me like she did. It looks to me like
That's right.
it does look to me like she consciously misrepresented someone that she claimed was abusing her, and she bought him a knife.
Yeah.
She,
Ironic.
no, my brother beat the shit out of his wife. She never bought him a weapon.
Like,
So
it just,
don't.
I was afraid for my life, but next week I'm going to buy him a knife. Come on now.
Yeah. Or
Let me
and
get this
something.
super chat real quick,
Okay,
Joseph.
go ahead.
He shouldn't have died, but people here are worshiping him and painting pictures of him on building is why his background matters.
Right. And no argument from me, just to touch on that one more time before you wrap up. No argument from me that George Floyd, at least in that moment, didn't specifically deserve to die.
Right.
I agree that what Derek Chauvin did was overdone. So I'm not saying that Floyd did not face a level of injustice. I was just disagreeing with framing him as a hero for his
Oh, yeah.
past.
And I
The
agree
hero
with that,
doesn't make
too.
sense.
Yeah, no. I agree with that, too. I understand what you're saying, Gary, but,
I'm Joe. No, I'm
no,
Joe. He's Gary.
I know, that's what I meant. I was answering a
Oh.
super chat. But I think people look at him as more of a martyr, maybe. I don't know. I get why you think that matters, but nobody should go through that. Nobody should have that much power to take away your life. Thank you so much, Gary. I really appreciate it. But yes,
So,
trial. I'm excited.
So bottom line here, it looks to me, based on my understanding, that Amber done fucked up, and
Yeah.
that really should be the end of it. Like something interesting that Dr. Soup brought up, I believe Camille touched on it during cross exam, that Johnny was always wearing rings.
Yes. So that would have been
and there was no evidence of such damage on her face. So that was an interesting challenge to her story. But you don't even need that to make the determination. We look at everything said, the fact that their marriage counselor never addressed any abuse. I think the only person attempting to address not even direct claims of abuse, indirect claims of abuse, was one of the experts that testified on behalf of Amber. Remember, there was that blonde psychiatrist commenting on another
yeah, she was
expert's notes.
You could tell when she went in there, she was bought and paid for, though. Like
Well,
the way that she used, the pronouns and describing situation, but trying to make it more seem like it was their situation. I don't know. She felt very bought and paid for to me.
Maybe. Well, it was Amber's. She didn't treat Amber for no reason, She could have been a crooked doctor. It could even have to be that. It could have been that this was a crooked doctor anyway.
Yeah.
It could have been a number of things. But we look at all the best witnesses, they all seem to favor Johnny. Even though there were a few moments in the beginning where I thought, well, you're going to have a hard time walking that back. Like when he said he wanted to put her in the back of a car and light it on fire.
Oh, yeah, those texts.
And I know, and that's the thing, I know it's comical. If you say that amongst friends, they have a real hard time taking it seriously. But in court, when you're facing something like that.
Bad.
Yeah, that was the first time I said, oh, you're in trouble, dude.
Yep. And I thought the exact same thing. But I do think right now we know the court of public opinion is clearly on Johnny's side. That's a big fucking deal. And then
Hmm.
going into this week, I think, yeah, the psychiatrist and the lady that said he was controlling and jealous, I would say those are the most damning ones. But honestly, I don't see them near as damning because we've had so many great character witnesses. So
Yeah.
I do feel like he has a much better chance, at least, than he did in the UK.
Right. So that's
Yes,
my
tomorrow
conclusion. I
live.
think tomorrow live. See you all there, and I think Johnny's got it.
Yep, definitely. All right, we will see you guys later. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.